Hey guys, welcome to another voiceover tutorial. My name is Akemi-chan, and for this terms with voiceover tutorial we will be doing another voiceover walkthrough while I paint. So this time the character that I wanted to paint is Spider-Gwen. Actually, I went to see the new Spider-Man movie in theaters, Into the Spider-Verse, and it's really fun. I had a lot of fun watching that movie, and to commemorate, I kind of wanted to paint Spider-Gwen again. I had previously painted her a few years ago. I thought I'd just do a less full body piece, so kind of like a portrait. And this time for this tutorial I will be displaying it a little bit different, so I'm going to be pretty much utilizing this canvas right here, so it's gonna be fairly big. So first I'm gonna fill in the background. For the background I'm just gonna have a standard grayish grayish tone. So this is going to be my background. I'm just going to close this up, and then we'll do it step by step, but it will be within this canvas. Actually, let me extend it. Okay, so, and then everything will be constrained. Actually, we don't need that. So start off with a sketch. Feeling like I'm going to be doing this with a fairly big brush like this, and I have a general idea of what I want to sketch. So the idea is kind of don't really want to sketch her in her original outfit, but kind of like in a slightly different variation of the outfit. So just taking inspirations pretty much. I kind of wanted to give her like kind of a casual clothing, but using her original design, her spider suit design. So I'm just doing the angle of her of how she's facing, so kind of looking downward-ish. So still want to keep the hoodie, but I want to keep the suit kind of like this, and she's got the design like that. Gonna give her a bit of muscle and making her wear kind of like gloves, and I think the inside will be the spider Gwen sort of the spider net design. Of course I wanted to have that sort of show on her hoodie as well, so I'm just going to imply that real quick. And of course her hair. So I'm probably not going to be basing this off of her look in the movie. Let's kind of get a little bit of inspiration from it though. So in the movie her head is kind of shaved to the side, but I'll be kind of using her hair before the accident. Trying to look up for a reference. It's always good to look up the reference first. I apologize in advance if I sound a little disorientated. I currently am switching back to a normal sleeping schedule. So although I have slept, I've been so used to sleeping at such a later date that it's been my head is kind of this kind of not so used to it. Okay. So she's gonna have her ears here. Maybe sort of like that. Okay. Oh, wait. Actually, her hair is parted. Sort of like this. Could probably have a few hair going, and then kind of like that. Somewhat like this. Her hair is parted to the side. So let's go with this type of pose. So this is a super rough sketch. Let me just make it like that. So this is gonna be my sketch for Spider-Gwen. Trying to go for a slightly different take, but inspired by the movie. I usually like to put my own spin to fan art. Usually don't really stick to the original design too much. I like to play around with the design slightly. So yeah, that's kind of my thing. That's why I'm trying to figure out a way to kind of follow the design, but at the same time do something fun. Alright, so I think I'm gonna go with this. Let's just kind of lower the sketch here, and then I'm going to be doing a slightly cleaner version of the sketch, and then we'll see how this can go. So her hair is kind of, actually let me go back to the reference. Her hair is parted this way and then goes down like that. So this is gonna be like, I'm not sure how old she is in the movie, but just in case I'm gonna age her up just a bit. So I'm gonna give her longer hair. And actually, I'm just gonna have a little bit of hair, but not too much. Let's see here. I think in the movie her hood kind of connects to here, which I thought was quite interesting, how the design for the movie. You got the hood and then have the muscle. Let me zoom out real fast, have a look-see here. Follow the anatomy more or less. So she's got the design here. And this is the glove that I wanted her to wear. Just gonna line that. And I'm going to reduce the lines here. As you can see, it's slightly cleaner, so that's good. Oh, she's got Is that a scar or piercing? I think it's a oh yeah, she has a piercing in the original and in the movie. Okay. I actually one sec. And she's got, let me just make this a bit more clear. It's the line, and then they also have, she also has like a pattern that goes like that. Actually, this line should probably be a little deeper, like, actually. Yeah, we'll just start with that for now. And this is the glove section. So this is gonna be what we're gonna work with now. So for the face, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna have a good time with that. Let me kind of flip it over since I'm more used to drawing from this angle. So just saying, okay, everything looks alright. Oh gosh. I always do a very rough job with the face, especially in sketch phase, because it's really not that serious for me. Let's just try our best. So she's got like piercings on this side, but I'm gonna flip this afterwards, so. And just kind of drawing the eyes. Again, not really putting too much into the sketch for the face, because usually I'm gonna be painting over it anyhow, so you don't have to be super detailed unless you want to, because honestly, the cleaner your sketches, the better time you're gonna have afterwards. Oh. And of course, I'm gonna end up kind of adjusting the face. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna keep it like that. Also notice that the jawline is kind of weird, and so is the ear, so I'm going to fix that. Just going to fix. So this is the vibe that I want to go for. Let me see. Trying to adjust the eyes position. Just bring forth that nose bridge. To zoom out, have a look. I think this should be okay. And then I'm going to be resizing this so that it actually, I'll just keep it like that. So I won't be painting with too much of a background, just a pretty standard background. So this is what we have here, and yeah. So this is step one. Before that, I'm gonna go ahead. So this is my line art layer. I'm gonna try to name this so it's not super confusing for you guys to navigate afterwards. And I'm gonna use a lasso tool to just select the sections where the character will be, and this is gonna be where I'm gonna be painting in. Trying to make some curve here. And I'm gonna fill that in with another base color. Probably need to be either lighter or dark. Let's go with the lighter. So there we have it, our character. And for the background, I'm thinking blue because go with a simple bluish background with some clouds. We can probably do that after. But yeah, this is our step 1. We got our sketch done and rough background. So step 2, we're gonna just kind of put in the base color and such. So constrain the liner down to my color base by holding Alt and press and making sure the liner layer is a multiply as always, which ensures that whatever underneath will not obstruct the light, the darkness of the liner afterwards. So let's go ahead and do the skin. Oh gosh, lock that down. Start with the skin first. So using an airbrush to do the skin, and then afterwards gonna go ahead and start selecting the outfit. So the hood, the outfit, start separating the different colors. So of course we got the white, which is most of the outfit design with a variety of other colors. So selected that. I'm gonna go right ahead and start adding some shadows. So I'm gonna start with like this color for the outfit. So this part is white and this part is black, but we'll do that after. The gloves are white and so is the hood. Very roughly kind of putting down that shadow, at least for the white of the outfit, and then I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the rest. So this part is black. Separate that, and of course I'm gonna clean out my selection, so it's just that part that's black. So let's go ahead and just right off the bat just have that down pat, and then of course this area. Oh gosh, I'm not really sure how to work this area. So this area is actually a purplish pinky-ish darker tone, and then we have the web, which is like a neon blue-green. So the inside is sort of like this color, so let's just have that down immediately. For base, so already you can get a feel of the character and the design. Let's just kind of highlight it slightly, not too much though, like that. Okay, so we have our outfit together. I'm kind of feeling I should probably be putting the skin and the head on a separate layer so that it's a little easier to work with. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and select the hair and the skin and have them on a separate layer. That way I don't have to really worry about having to paint over elements while I refine and add shadow and highlight. This way you keep everything nice and clean and fast to work with if you want to just focus on one area. Usually I recommend for you guys to keep the skin and the outfit on separate layers. That way, there. So I have the hair on a separate layer, and this part is actually not super clean, so I'm just gonna clean this up. Delete. Okay, so now that I have the hair and the skin on a separate layer, what I can do now is let's go ahead and do a super fast shadow guide. So this is gonna be highlight and then shadow. Go ahead and use my airbrush to just super fast put in the shadow. And oh god, it's looking a little too washed out. Let's put a bit of this pinky skin tone. So let's say this part is shadow. I'm gonna go ahead and do a super rough. Have a bit of lip color. All super rough with the airbrush. And of course we have the hair. And I'm just gonna do a fast select of the hair. And then gonna have it blonde. So what I can do is just go here. Oh, oops, I selected too much. I forgot that the skin and the hair is in the same layer. So let's deselect that area and deselect this. And then kind of adjust the color of the hair to this color. Sorry, not deselect. Control H to hide the selection. And I'm gonna go ahead and add the shadow color for the hair. And keep in mind that the highlight is coming from this side, and also we have to kind of shade it in a way to accommodate what I have going on right here, which is highlight on this area, and this area is in shadow. So go ahead and select highlight color and just put the highlight on this area only. Let's put a bit, neutralize the top of the hair a bit by putting some skin tone there. And I think I'm gonna keep this fairly bright like this. So this is what we have for Spider-Gwen so far. Of course, have to add some more shadow as we go along, like for example this area, really pop out that muscle. I'm not really sure how. Hopefully I can. So I'm going kind of trying to shade out a bit of a muscle there. Need a bit more shadow underneath here, underneath the arm. That. And a bit of shadow over here. Probably gonna be casted from the hood and the hair. And shadow here. Highlight here and shadow down here to make sure the arm is taken for. Let's sharpen off the shadow on that side and add more shadow on the cheeks. So this shadow is super basic and it might change afterwards. Let's go ahead and select a slightly warmer tone. Since the shadow is quite neutral and a bit cooler, having a bit of contrast of a warmer shadow highlight in there will help with the atmosphere I'm going for. Add shadow underneath the head here. Okay, now going back to the clothing. So what I'm going to do is select all of these areas where I think shadow is going to be at, and also kind of keeping in mind the shadow that I have put down on the skin. So gotta follow through on that. Let's go ahead and do that. And let's darken that up like this. saturation, let's go for a pink cool tone like that. Can change the color a little bit more by just playing around with the color balance option, maybe not too much. And here we have it. So this is step 2, just slight color. Alright guys, now what I will be doing is lowering the lines a bit more. Let's zoom in and try to do a rough pass on the face. So what I will be doing is just selecting the line out straight up, copy, paste, and then I'm gonna be using this as a guide. So since I already have the sketch of the eyes, let me just start blurring up some of these area and start shading some of it as well. So using the blur tool, the smudge tool, which is great for just blending stuff. It also is pretty good for just dulling out the color to make it softer. Let's go ahead and work on the eyebrows, work a bit on the nose. Let's put a bit more of a warmer tone for the tip. Have the highlight for the nose. Oh god, okay, I might not be doing this correctly. Let's put a bit of highlight this side, going in with a much darker tone. I'm gonna go ahead and paint out the nostrils with a darker color, but at the same time still a warm shadow color, which helps making flesh look more soft and less rigid and softer. Pretty much, it's just a better look. Just kind of blending everything in as I go. Switching between the hard brush to soft brush now. And using the airbrush to give her a bit of a smokier eye look. And for the lips, let's go for a pretty neutral pink lip, but first using the... God, that looks a mess! But first, kind of using the airbrush to just quickly establish some shape. Let's go here, blend cheek out here and the chin out here. And let's go ahead and use a darker pinky tone to put the shadow in the lips. And what I will be doing is probably should be slowly removing. So I put a layer mask on top of the line art layer, and I'm gonna be slowly removing the lines, especially around the face, since I kind of copy pasted the face line art on top, which is this layer. Actually, it's not looking too bad. So now I'm gonna merge it down because I'm pretty okay with it. So this is what we have, and this is 30 minutes in. Let's go ahead and place our timer. Always a habit of doing this every so often just to see where we get each time. This is not so bad. Alright, so this is what we have so far. It's probably like 30 seconds away from 30 minutes. Let's go ahead and move on to step 3. Okay. So we're gonna just keep on refining from this point on, but first have to rotate this once again. Always keep rotating because you'll be able to see errors that you probably won't be able to see if you just left it at that. I'm just gonna go ahead and do a bit of refining here and there. Going into the skin and hair layer and kind of just clean the jawline up a bit. Inverse my selection. Clean this one up a bit, and I'm gonna go ahead and maybe adjusting the colors of the lips a bit, giving her more of a natural neutral lip color instead of pink. Going for a more trying to go for more of a Western look this time instead of anime look that I've been doing lately. And I'm going to put some highlight on this side, and also the nose is kind of crooked, so let's see if we can fix that. Like that. Let's make the smile a bit wider. Redo that, bring back the smile, and kind of blend in the nose a bit. I'm going to go ahead and select the shadow color there that I picked up from the nose and put it over on the brow bone, underneath the brow. And just kind of fix the eyes. I have a feeling I'm probably gonna be ending up resizing the head afterwards to make it look a little bit less, a little older looking. Yeah, I think I'll probably be doing that. Or what I could do is, I'm gonna select the whole face here, copy, Control Shift V, paste, Control T, and just kind of make the face itself smaller. Actually, I'm gonna do this whole area. Copy and paste, Control T to transform, and I'm just going to move this up a bit, making the head slightly smaller. Control D to deselect and fix the face structure here. Probably need to tweak the face here. I'm going to move the nose a little bit to center. Merge that down, remove the lines so that you can kind of get an idea of the correction. Let's make her face a little angular, a little longer. So this is what we have. Just going to shade the hair a bit. So this part is in highlight, assuming because of the way the lighting is. So all the highlights on the bottom and then all the shadow on top, at least for the top of the hair because of the light there. Okay, so now the head looks a little big on top, so let's like bring the head up a bit. few more hair strokes just to blend that in before, after. So let's zoom out and have a look. It's getting there. Let's make it slightly bigger. And also I'm going to be removing the highlight up here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna flip this just to make sure that it's okay. So move this back up a bit. Okay. So I noticed that her chin might be a little too big. What we could do is I'm just gonna select this layer and I'm gonna go to liquify, which allows me to kind of play around with the pixels by just kind of pushing and pulling different areas. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Bring the mouth up this way. So let's go ahead and see if this is a good fit. Okay, now that we did that, the hair looks super big for the face. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make the face just a little bit bigger. Before, after. So the face is just a little bit smaller instead of being a lot smaller. And we'll just go ahead and just do this for now. In the meantime, let's go ahead and oh snap, did I just phew, okay. I thought that I merged the skin layer down with the clothes layer, which I did, which is good. Okay, so now let's go ahead and work on the rest of the torso. Just blend some of this together. Make it nice and smooth. Using my lasso tool to isolate areas. Like that. And I'm gonna attempt to give her a bit of muscle definition. So going with a slightly darker color, contour the shoulder, the bicep, and just give a little definition and contour for here. It might be a bit too much, so especially with female characters, you don't want to go too crazy. At least I'm not the best at it, so I try to be a little more subtle with it, since I know that I'm not the best in superhero anatomy, so I just like go in very, very subtle and going in with a darker color to contour. And then gonna select this color right here, gonna make it slightly darker and warmer, and then just kind of contour the bottom area of the muscle, the bicep, and deselect. Let's select this area and going to put a bit of highlight up in here. Like that, so that the shoulder feels like it's popping. It's really, really forward from the hood, which is what I want. And this area probably be in shadow, so going in with a fairly dark color and have that down. Here, let's go ahead and highlight this area. And also put shadow underneath as well, because the clothings on top always have shadow. The shadow's needed, and I'm gonna just use the airbrush, blend this area out, and add just a little bit of highlight in this area. Keep this area fairly lit. Going to multiply. I'm gonna start by adding like a lot darker, a lot more shadow in the areas where two surfaces collide, like in the armpit area, stuff like that, where it's like really tight together. And going to normal mode, gonna just try to blend this out. On top of that, what we could do is just kind of add just a little bit of blue in some of these shaded area, just because the background is blue and having a bit of the background color helps quite a bit. I'm just going to subtly put a bit of shadow here. Emphasize a little bit of muscle here. Probably gonna correct the shoulder. Actually, it's not looking too anatomical. So it's a lot of trial and error. Sometimes I don't really do things by knowledge. Sometimes I'm not really sure. In that case, I depend on reference as well as just pure feeling. So once you draw enough, you'll kind of have this natural instinct to see if something you did looks good or looks weird. And you know, sometimes you can't always trust that instinct, because I feel like half the time you're probably wrong if you're not sure how to paint something using purely your instinct. But yeah, just kind of adding some more dimension, shade the elbow on this side a bit more, and going in here, kind of fixing the neck here using the lasso tool, and then adding shadow there using the airbrush, just blending stuff together. Let's add a bit of blue up here, blue on the hair too. Just using the airbrush to do this general color guide. Pretty much it's not super solid, and just go ahead and select here and this side here, and selected this side because I know this area is probably gonna be in highlight because the hair is kind of bent that way, and this side is highlight and that side is a shadow to give the impression of that nice hair sweep. And I'm gonna go ahead and select this area here, put darker color because the hair sweep continues, so gotta have the formation ready. This side I'm gonna keep it light because of the highlight coming from the right, so highlight on the right and on the left is shadow. Select it here because I want to do a little hair bunch on this side, separate this bunch, and so on. So I'm gonna do another bunch over here, highlight on this side, shadow on this side, etc. So this is a pretty good way of just starting off the hair texture, more or less. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the shadow over here. Use airbrush. Just going to softly roughly shade the hair up. I'm gonna put a bit of skin tone over here and isolate the neck. Go inverse and do the opposite this side. Okay, so I need to do a little bit of correction here. Delete that layer so that the outfit is a bit cleaner. Okay, so now let's work on the outfit a bit since we've been neglecting it. I'm gonna use my lasso tool real fast, and I'm going to be bringing a white over here just so the thickness of the fabric shows through. And then I'm going to select the under area of the hood, and I'm going to use a super dark blue for shadow. And then I'm going to add a bit of skin tone up in here just because the skin's reflecting on top of the hood, which is a white color, but white is very reflective and picks up a lot of color from surroundings. So that is why I used a bit of skin tone. I'm gonna go ahead and add some additional shadow for the hood. Have a bit of it here so it feels like the skin is really, the shoulder is really pushing up on the hood. Therefore, there's a indentation and also shadow here. And also it really outlines the shoulder. So roughly it's gonna be like that, in addition to a bit of blue on the side. Sort of like that. Okay. Now for the main part, let's go ahead and put just a bit of skin tone here. Let's keep it nice and sharp, and pretty much just blend that together. While you're at it, to make it a little faster, just gonna use our trusty smudge tool here, like that, and also pick up a bit of that skin tone and start blending these two the sharp edge, make it nice and subtle. That, and gonna go ahead and put a bit of shadow on the side to show that fabric dimension, and also this side should be in shadow, kind of falling through on the shadow on the skin. Probably gonna fix that later on. And here too, it's a little too purple. Let's go ahead and switch back to the pink. Add the pink down here. Now for the chest area, trying to contour it. Okay, this should be fine, and should be also in shadow, I think. This whole area, trying to figure out the anatomy, so don't mind me following through on the shadow, just kind of blending that together. Now for the rib cage, so there's gonna be a shadow casting from her chest downward onto her rib cage. So the rib cage is right here. Gonna have a little bit of indentation here, so follow that through with shadow, and oh gosh, and the side is highlighted. This highlight there, highlight here, shadow there, and highlight here, like that. And of course, subtly, sorry, not subtle, keep refining. Okay, so it's a little dark down here. I'm gonna just put a bit of atmospheric highlight inside the shadow, which blue, because the background is blue, and that seems like the logical color to have. However, you can also put a bit of the skin tone in there as well, which can make it look pretty nice. So I just kind of use the airbrush to quickly indicate a little bit of highlight and then contour it with a darker color. This kind of gives a bit of a shine. Of course, gotta refine that using the airbrush to pretty much blend this area. Okay. And the outer rim here. Just to keep it nice and atmospheric. Selected the outer rim of the ribcage area, and put a bit of that blue there. And let's go ahead and use the smudge tool to blend this area. And so this is what we have for our torso. Let's kind of clean this up a bit. It's gotten a little soft just because I have been using the airbrush for most of this. That's why losing a bit of volume. So just bring back some of that sharpness. Of course, making sure that everything is nice and matched up. So this side, trying to kind of make sure the curve is not too weird, so having a little bit of a hard time doing that. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, let's go ahead and clean this area up a bit. Just kind of got the shadow here so intense. I don't think it matches that well. So I'm gonna go back into the skin layer, lock that down, and I'm going to soften this up so that it matches better. Same for here. And gonna go with a darker color and pretty much readjusting the shadow here. So it's gonna look like that. Okay, so more or less it's getting there. And of course we have the glove here, just adjusting it. And let's make sure this part is fairly dark, not that dark, just a bit darker. Maybe not that dark. Let's tone that down. Sometimes I'm not 100% sure about things. Probably make this a little bit brighter. If I make that brighter, probably need to make this area brighter too. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is gonna be our base. And last but not least, on the next side, I'm going to go here and make this dark and the side light. Probably gonna have a bit of shadow on this side just just for the hair, because the hair is like, the light is coming this way, so it's making shadow from the hair onto the neck area. On top of that, put a bit of that skin tone in the white fabric and a blue as well. So now we need a bit of shadow inside here. Let's go ahead and use a darker color and just have it in the hood just a bit, not too much. So this is what we have. It's gonna be almost an hour soon. But before that, let's just kind of rotate this and see our progression, see if it's like weird. Okay, so far not too bad. Do kind of need to clean the torso up, so kind of cleaning that up, making it nice and sharp. That goes for this side. And just kind of blend it back. Let's do a bit of highlight in the shadow, so I'm again using the skin tone. And I'm just going to have that in there. And the shadow that goes downward, this side as well, going down, and I have the highlight under, so indicate highlight down here inside the shadow. Okay. This side needs to be a bit cleaner. So just making sure everything's nice and contoured and clean. And of course, we have a bit of time, so can do a little bit of design. So putting in a bit of, just a little bit of design here, just putting a bit of shadow in here to make some sort of seam pattern, so it's not too boring. I'm kind of a sucker for details, so oftentimes if the outfit is simple, fairly simple, I like to add like small little details like seams and whatnot to make it a bit more interesting. Can probably put a little bit on the center too, kind of like this. And can put like seams going here too. Sometimes it doesn't work out too well, so I have to make sure to try it out and see. Oftentimes it's not a sure thing. I think it works more or less, just have to be super subtle. A lot of times it's just you put it down and it looks weird, so no harm done, just undo or remove the layer. Okay, so this is what we have. Let me put a bit more highlight lines here. And here too needs to have a bit of fabric thickness, so adding a bit of shadow, contouring that. So it's on this side. The shape is kind of weird, I have to correct that later. But so far it's not too bad. Gotta kind of round this area up. So this is what we have. And what? Oh gosh, the head copy needs to be over here a bit more. Just notice that it's looking a little lopsided there. Just a sec. Let me just move this a bit over here using the Control T transformation. It's kind of okay. Let's bring back that angle there. Before, after. Not too sure actually. Oof, a lot of times you have to just try it out, see if it works or not. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Okay, so now it's been an hour, and this is what we have. Let me just go ahead and do the time. Oops. Forgot, let me just rotate this layer only, this group only. And where is that? There. Okay, there we go. So this is 1 hour in. And it's what we have. So I think the next step would just be merging some stuff down and putting the head on a separate layer, and then we can start to refine it a bit more. So yeah. Alright. So this is step 3. Just a little bit more refined. I think I might bring back the little head tilt once I start having the head on a separate layer soon. So now we're gonna start by isolating a few of these areas separately. So, which means I'm gonna have the hair and the head on a separate layer. So what first I'm gonna do is just make sure to clean the hair up a bit by selecting the outer rim of the whole layer and just deleting the excess around it. And then what I will be doing is just simply selecting the hair and the head portion and just leaving the skin alone, the skin section alone. So I cut that, and then I'm just going to merge this down to the bottom layer. And then what I will be doing is just kind of selecting this whole area here, which is the hood area, and just gonna delete whatever's not part of that area, pretty much the hair, so that we can have one layer and one head layer like this. And then I'm just gonna name this head. And now that we did that, we could actually, you know what? We could even have the neck as a separate thing, but never mind. So I'm just going to kind of see if I can rotate the head a bit. Not sure if this works. But as you can see, a bit more flexible. I have a bit more power now with that. Okay, so now that the body is on one separate layer, I can go ahead and do a bit of cleaning, a bit more cleaning. Like that. Like this, so just leave it like that. And what I'm gonna do is select the whole body layer and see if I can do a bit of editing here. Just going to make this a little thinner. Stuff like that. Bring this up a bit. This is just first bit of editing. Sometimes it doesn't always look better, so in that case we can undo it. But let's just see if this makes it look better. And just adjusted it a little. And I'm going to make the head smaller, so that she looks a bit more older this way, to have the head a bit smaller and the body a bit bigger. And also because of that, I can make this a little bigger. And also the background, we could probably make it a bit more vibrant as well. make it vibrant and a bit darker. So this is what we have. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and work on the body. I'm just going to go ahead and do another bit of shading. So using my lasso tool and just kind of contouring the areas where I think shadow will be. So pretty much reselecting some of these, the same areas. And then I'm gonna do copy, paste, and then adjustment brightness. I'm gonna go into brightness, reduce the brightness. Going back to the base layer and then see if this works, and making that base layer brighter so that the shadow layer would be darker. And I'm gonna lock this down and gonna go into my airbrush mode, select this color to add a bit of warmth, just kind of dragging it over to the warmer side, and I'm going to start by adding that in these areas. Probably for here, a bit more blue. So depending on which area, it's either going to be warmer or cooler. So probably going to make this area cooler and this area cooler too. Yes, this area cooler too. This area too. So it's kind of like that. Make it a combination of cooler and warmer. So this is what we have. It's the shadow. Now that we have that, I'm going to go ahead and kind of soften the shadow up by either blurring it or erasing it. Let's go ahead and, oh god, probably gonna erase it. Like that. And of course, don't erase the whole thing, because we still want to have a bit of that sharpness in some of these areas. Something like that. Let me bring this the shadow down. Actually, does it? And also gonna go ahead and start adding a bit of shadow to accompany the hair as well. Over here, I will be adding a bit of warmer tone, just so the shoulder stands out, and then erasing. Should I erase it? So this is all kind of pretty experimental, and then I'm gonna do a few more hair strand shadow on the shoulder here, and gonna add a bit of pink or warmer tone on the shoulder. And then on that side, let me just isolate that shoulder a bit more. Okay, it's looking a little messy. Let's erase some of this. When it gets too messy, I usually just erase it, because then it kind of reduces the mistake just a bit. Just put shadow over here. Let's put a bit of gray underneath this area in particular, because of the color of the hood, which is white, so it casts a bit of gray. Yeah, environmental colors to consider when you do the shadow. Okay, so here put a bit of this shadow, and okay, where else should we target? Let's go ahead and select just the corners here so that I can apply a bit of highlight, so that it could be sort of like a different color, different texture for the black patterns of her suit. Actually, it's not looking, I'm not really sure if it fits too well. Have to make sure that this and this is close together, and also actually not so sure it works very well. Let's go back and fix it. So this is before, after. So I'm trying to make the darker area have a different type of texture, but I'm not sure if it's gonna work out too well, so I'm just experimenting. Right now I'm just isolating areas where I think shine could be, like towards the high point of the suit, like the ribcage point, and also between two fabric as well. Okay, what else can we do here? I'm gonna select this area real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and put a bit of shadow underneath here, so that feels like fabric is close to the skin type of feel. And I'm gonna do the same here. I'm probably gonna look up a reference for the shoulder here, just to make sure. I have a rough idea of how the muscle needs to work, but it's always better to have some sort of reference. Anyways, this is what I have so far. This is before, after, so just a bit more shadow. And now next step is, this is gonna be like a super major shadow. So layer on another shadow, and going to subtly blur this together and keeping the edge a little bit sharper. This side probably gonna keep the sharp edge, and just gonna add a bit of a warmer highlight side here, just so it's not super intense. And also add, oh god, that might be too much. Add a bit of cooler tone, and also for this side, I'm just gonna bring back the highlight of the hood over here, so that the shadow can really stand out. And I'm gonna go ahead and select the tip of the shoulder here. Maybe this part could be not as sharp. Sadly, I don't think that works too well, so we'll just keep it as it is. So this is what we have after the secondary shadow, and now I'm gonna go ahead and fix this area, and also this area, and also this area. So I'm gonna clean it up a bit. That. that helps kind of separate the skin and the glove, and maybe like an extra little detail for the design as well. And for the shoulders, going to go ahead and smooth that in. Gonna go select this side, apply a bit more shadow on that side, and bring back the white outer layer of the hood. Put a bit of shadow around there, like this, just for that extra layer of detail. And now I'm gonna put a bit of a blue inside the hood, especially this area where the highlight is, I think. And then what I'm gonna do is just select this area, which I will be making sure this is gonna be highlight, so picking a highlight color for the hood here. Just kind of creating a sort of interest here between light and darkness. This area is gonna be where it's kind of, the side of the hood is kind of facing the light, pretty much. And we're gonna make sure this part is dark, actually. The neck area, just a little bit of highlight. Going back to the head now, the head layer, and just going to go ahead and do a couple of shadow lines here to represent the shadow from the hair itself, which actually makes the composition pretty interesting. Oftentimes I try to find this type of opportunity. So this is what we have before, after. So it's just little, at this point, very little changes here and there to refine and make the piece more interesting. Deselect, zoom out, have a look-see. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to make a copy of, actually no, I'm not gonna make a copy of the head. I do know that I'll probably be going back and forth on the face. The face actually takes the most time to do. Fix this slightly. Let me go back to the reference. And I'm just going to be painting additional detail onto the face using a separate layer just in case. So yeah, let's get started. Let's refine the nose, since the nose is almost done. You just need a bit more detail, pretty much. And the eyelids, gonna shade it appropriately. Have the highlight on top, shadow on the bottom, and a bit of contour for the nose, bit of shadow in the center and on the tip of the nose, and highlight on the nose bridge here, and then we select that, and then we have the shadow on the forehead, which is usually how it goes with this type of highlight on the bottom feel and shadow on the top. And then I contour the chin, having the shadow on top, highlight on the bottom. Let me just, actually no, I won't. And just kind of, let's go with a pinkier tone add that there as blush, and then very subtly have a bit of a blue on the side, and then have the eyelashes, just kind of refining the eyes now. And just kind of put the eyeliner and blur it out, softening it up. Let's go ahead and select a slightly darker brown tone for additional shadow. Just kind of layering on top of the shadow I already have for the face. And you put the highlight of the tip on the center. It's a little too dark, so I'm just going to kind of slowly blur it out. And I think that's that for the nose. This is before, after. And let's just go ahead, just selecting the environment blue and pretty much coloring the eyes with that color. So using the reference, this is the eyebrows. I'm probably gonna put the piercing afterwards depending on which way I'm gonna have her facing later on. It's going to shade the highlight, blending it in with the shadow. Let's kind of gradually blend this down, and also at the same time gonna start have the hair and blending it and whatnot. Bring in a bit of a warm tone using the face shadow, making it darker, dragging it down. Okay, so the cheeks are a bit deflated there, so bringing that back. Also this area too, it's kind of losing a bit of that face structure there. I'm gonna go ahead and have a bit of the what's it called? Oh my god, the ears. Yes, the ears. Have the ears down. So this is before, after. Of course, having the lips. Bringing a bit of the blue tone inside the teeth area. And I'm just going to put a bit of shadow. So highlight here, here, and here. And shadow over here, just for more of a pouty lip look. And having the shadow on top, highlight on the bottom. Alright guys, before, after, just kind of going back and forth, making sure everything's okay. Let's zoom out real fast. This is before, after, kind of like the before. Just gonna bring back a bit of that highlight, and gonna continue working on the lips. Just kind of, oh gosh, put a bit of highlight on the tip here and blend the lips. Have the shadow underneath the bottom lip where there's the highlight. Like that. I think that helps. Kind of soften the highlight up around the lips. So add a little bit of highlight on the tip here and a shadow around it, which actually creates a more poutier look, kind of like that, and then just kind of blend the rest together. Just gonna use a airbrush and just blend it, and then using an airbrush to very softly blend the rest of the nose connecting to the lip area. Just gonna kind of blending the nose on the side and this side too. And under the eyelid too. Okay, and let's see. Now I'm gonna just work on the hair slightly. Just going to do the hair strands. That using a pretty soft brush actually. It's like a combination of brush, hard and soft. Bring a bit of hair forward, overlapping the neck. And fixing the chin. And just contour the rest of the jawline here. And let me just rotate this, flip it horizontally. After we do that, it's actually becomes a lot easier to see. So one thing I noticed that it's tilting a little bit too much towards the right, so I will be fixing that. But first, this is before, after. I kind of liked the before when it came to the eyes and how soft it is. So also the shape of the eyes, I kind of like it, so I'm just gonna go back to that. I wonder if this was, nah, that was okay. Let's go back to before. Kind of like the color that we had before actually. So this is what we have here. I'm gonna blend this out. Before, after. Just seeing the before and after, I kind of dig the before chin as well. So I'm just gonna go back to the chin I had before. Gonna bring the highlight up a bit. That. Bring the highlight over here just a bit. And I'm just going to shade this area slightly. Before, after. Okay, this nostril needs to be a bit higher. Just gonna copy the whole nose, paste, Control T and warp, and just kind of bring it up. So this before, after, just kind of make it a little bit more even. Same with the mouth. I'm just going to move this up a little, this side down a little. Just kind of making it a little more even in general. Okay, now that that's done, kind of want to bring the hair up here. Go ahead and start doing a bit more shadow on the hair. And then this side. So using a solid round brush, 100% hardness, it's going to softly indicate shadow underneath hair. And just kind of using the same sort of brush strokes to emulate hair strands. Just kind of do that a few times. Gonna put a bit of shadow here to separate the different hair bunch here. Okay, so this is what we have. Not too bad. So gonna add a bit more details by just using a super small brush this time to really create the hair texture. And over here, just going to sharpen up the shape, add a bit of shadow underneath here, have a bit of highlight there, darken this area up, and just kind of bring in some of that hair-like texture to these individual hair strands. Bringing some of highlight at the tip of here and just kind of curl that up. And so, okay, let's have a look. This is before, after. I think the chin seems a bit sharper before, so we might fix that a little. For now, this should be okay. Yeah, it is a little sharper because now it's a little softer. Let's like toggle before and after. And also, let's merge that down. Also, it needs to be tilted a little bit like this towards up, and then bring it down, and then I'm just going to remove some of this pixels. Now I think we need to work on the hair. And just going to select these different hair strands and just kind of bringing in the hair strands like this. And just kind of do that as we go. So this is what we have right now. So this is like actually an hour and a half in. Not too bad. Actually, let me just fix the roundness here. It's kind of bothering me. Give a bit more volume for here. Here too. Okay. Alright. Alright. So right now, let's do a shadow pass for the head. So that means I'm going to be selecting some of these areas and I'm going to make them into large patches of shadow, and hopefully that will make this head look less flat. Right now it's at a good point, however it's still missing a bit of volume. So gonna start off with selecting these areas, actually probably a little bit here, and then maybe even underneath the different hair strands, maybe there. Oh yeah, I forgot about the hair. Let's do like this type of shadow. Okay, so let's copy, paste, adjustment, brightness, darkness, and we're just going to make it darker here. Don't forget to lock down the layer, and then we'll start inputting some of the environmental colors such as the blue, and yeah, I think blue actually works pretty well. Let's put a bit of blue and also a bit of the skin tone into the hair shadow layer. This way it creates a certain atmosphere. It makes it look a little softer overall. Let's see if it works if I put a bit of blue. It's not too bad, but it's not the best either. So this is what we have. Let's now sort of blend it in by erasing certain parts of this. Right now, if we do before, after, it definitely looks a little bit more blended in, softer, environment adapted. That's a weird term. Okay, I think, yeah, this is definitely looking a little better. Let me just move this over a bit. So now what? Actually, bring this down. I'm going to kind of bring this a little bit closer. Yeah, I think I would like to kind of bring this closer a bit more. So I'm going to cut the layer, and then I'm going to just kind of just bring it closer to the head, even maybe curling the hair a bit. And yep, zoom out, have a look. Maybe before it was better. I think before it was... Nah, let's go back to how we had it, just a bit closer to the head. And let's flip, actually before we flip, let me add a bit more detail to the eyes. So let's go ahead and do the lashes. Going in with a fairly soft hand and just doing some subtle lashes, and the bottom as well. And with a very light hand, giving softer feels, doing very, very delicate lashes all around. This eye looks really messy though. And then I have the pupil. There we go. And then have a little light. Actually, let's see if we can see which position looks the best. I think the one in the middle looks the best. And then I'm just going to darken the pupil so that it contours the highlight like this. And just going to go ahead and put the tear duct in. Doesn't have to be super detailed, but having that implied tear duct really helps sell the eyes. And also up here, a tear duct on the top eyelid. And go ahead and kind of darken the eyelid. And even apply a bit more darkness around that. Of course, we have the hair. I kind of want to put more texture, so I'm gonna use this brush right here. Thank God everything is on a separate layer, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add that texture. And we can also kind of add some additional hair strands here and there. So this is before, after, maybe not too intense. We can take off some of that. So this is what we have now. Now I can actually flip it back. That's not too bad. And clean up the hair. Deselect, lock that down, and I'm just gonna go ahead, see if I can kind of put a bit more blue in these areas, and then at the same time maybe even brighten these hair strands here. Just soften it up. Let's go and select that one area and then kind of highlight this whole hair strand. Of course it's looking flat now, so we can bring back some of that texture. At the same time, oh shoot, I'm going to contour this area right here and then darken it so that we can separate these hair strands. Bring down the hair in the back. Give a bit more detail by highlighting the back, just implying hair texture. So I forgot to do the ear. Trying to attempt to add some what's it called, shadow for the hair. Let's add a bit of highlight. In the neck area, and also gonna select underneath the head. We're gonna to multiply and add some shadow here, and also around here. So now I'm just going to start adding some hair strand shadow. There. Just kind of giving a bit more hair texture to it. And another way of doing this is actually just to use some hair texture from a photograph. That really helps sometimes, only sometimes, but I find it harder to integrate photo texture for hair without having a good base. So of course always need a pretty good base to start off with, but I think it's getting there. also gonna copy, paste, and then gonna bring this down. Bring this down a bit. Oops. So I just bring down the head to make her look a bit more youthful. Might even fix the face after. I don't think the shadow's working too well. So I'm gonna kind of go ahead and refine the head over here a bit more. And also going to erase that area and just have a straight highlight up here. The jawline might be a bit too wide, so I'm gonna reduce it. And then I'll do a bit of shadow this way. Just kind of, oops. Kind of looking back and forth on the thumbnail. I think this eye is smaller than this eye, so I'm going to make that eye a bit smaller. Bring it over. There we go. Okay. Once we're good, merge that down. So this is what we have so far. Oh, cool. Okay. I kind of tilted it just to see if that would work. I think that it works. Probably need a bit more hair, actually. Actually, let's do a bit of outline. I'm just gonna go and do a bit of brim light on the hair. This way it allows me to create a bit more hair-like texture, especially because I'm not feeling a lot of hair action going on, so this helps a bit. Again, we still have our head. Okay, so now for the elbow. I've been looking at that elbow for a while and I'm not wasn't really happy with the lighting and the definition, but anyways, I think this looks a little better. Okay, so now I will be let's go ahead and work on the spider texture. So for the spider texture, it is this type of color. Let's go ahead and just kind of paint that on, of course taking into account the deformation of the fabric and trying to accommodate that. And here too, and here. Let me just see how it's done. Okay, so first, okay, so it's going this way. Just do that. Goes that way. Try to make it clean, fairly clean. Not the best when it comes to that, but yeah, this is what we have. I think maybe the line I used was a bit too thick. Maybe if it was this. I think it might have been a bit too thick, the line that I used. It looks so, yeah, it's a bit too thick. I'm gonna redo it. So once again, let's go ahead and do that. And then I think this actually looks better now that it's thinner. As you can see, my hands are kind of shaky when I do these lines. When it comes to sleek design or super smooth lines, I am not the best when it comes to those. Okay, now for the not actually sure how I'm gonna do this one. So for that, I think it goes this way. Go for this, and then for this little area, it's I think like that. Not sure. It might actually be the other way around. Actually no, it's the other way. Yeah, this way. Let's do another line just so it doesn't look like a leaf. It's looking like a leaf. And of course, as we get closer, we can do more of them. Okay, I think this should be good. And of course, we have to constrain it and also clean it up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start cleaning these, erasing the these lines outside of the designated area, and close that. I'm going to do a bit of shading so it's not one color, just adding some shadow in this so it's not 100% super bright. In fact, we could add a bit of darker color. This way it feels a little bit shiny. So this is what we have, all good. Make another layer. I would like to add a bit of shine to that area and also here. Bring some of that skin tone in that dark material. Actually makes it look quite shiny, and it's good because I'm trying to create the feel of different material. And I'm gonna go here and I'm going to add some shine as well, so get that shine. Bring the highlight down. I'm gonna then follow a bit of that fold fabric and then bring that down. Okay, so now it has that separation of the black fabric being shinier than the white fabric. Let me also kind of making sure the skin is also have the proper shadow dropping from the fabric. The fabric is influencing that. And I will probably also have another bit of highlight in here using a bit of skin tone this time. This actually, it helps a bit. And then it's going to shade it, add some fabric texture again using little lines in the highlight, little lines here and there, and then put the highlight back, add some, actually let me go ahead and pick a slightly lighter color and then plopping it down some of these areas. Actually maybe we can put a bit of it here. And I'm gonna kind of contour the rib cage so that it is more visible. Contour that, and also it goes like this. Just kind of referencing some of the references that I found. Actually, good reference is the Gwen spider statue and also some cosplays. They help me kind of determine a more realistic shadow. And because I did that to the white area, I'm gonna see if I can add the same to the black fabric, just adding that highlight, bringing it down. Okay, so this is what we have. So let's do before and after. So it's just a tiny bit more detail, pretty much. Okay, so this is what we have, and yeah, this is not too bad. I mean, should be fine. Let's do a bit of editing now. It's not been, oh man, it's not been an hour yet. Actually, let's go ahead and add some shadow, especially underneath the hair, and kind of create some more hair shadow. There we go. And now for a bit of the skin, gonna add some grayness in the skin because it's looking a bit too warm tone. So when it becomes too much of a one tone, I try to kind of break that up by bringing a bit of grayness into the face, stuff like that. Actually, let's go back to the lips, add that shine. Bring a bit more blue to the eyes. Maybe some shadow inside the eyes. Actually, oh, oops. Oh wow, that is a very sultry look. Let's bring that down. Just kind of seeing if the shadow, oh god, let's like tone it down a bit. Yeah, I think that's better. let's kind of add the nostrils back as well. There we go. And then we have the piercing there. Contour the lips. I'm not so sure about the neck. Just kind of playing around with the shape of the jawline to get a feel of things. Let's have the shadow of the chin and the highlight. Maybe the lips are a bit too pouty. Let's kind of reduce that. Actually, we could even... Yeah, I think I kind of like this feel better. So what I can do is copy paste it and just kind of overlap it. Sometimes this helps bring back some of the old vibe that you kind of, if you like your later versions, kind of bring back some of that. It helps a little. Let's see. Okay, I think I know. I'm gonna copy paste the old lips that I had before and then bring it over. Bring it. Bring a bit of highlight up here. Maybe that'll help. Yeah, I think this lip might be a bit more natural. Yes, I kind of like it like that. Okay, so it's not too drastic, but it did change just a bit. And I'm going to go in contrast. Wow, contrast really contrasted. I'm going to go in here and do a strong highlight. So selected the areas where I feel the strongest highlight will be, which is that area. And then just blend it down. I'm gonna go ahead and merge that, constrain that. I'm going to, whoops. Go ahead and gonna add a bit of shadow to the side here and add some highlight down the neck. Same for this side. Just gonna add some highlight. Oh god, probably not there actually. Let's go back to what I had before. This is before, after. Feels like the lips should be a bit smaller. Before it was a bit too big. So this is what we have now. Not too bad. Now I'm going to work on the highlight color on this side now, on the body layer. Copy. And then paste and intensify. So this is going to be our highlight layer. So this is going to be what we're going to have here. Let me just kind of constrain a color contrast and make it slightly darker here so that the highlight can really stand out. After that, I'm going to be using a large airbrush going to the layer here, and I'm gonna bring back some of the highlight so that it's not 100% dark. Oops. This. I'm gonna be constraining another layer down and gonna be kind of grazing the contour of some of these areas with blue, which helps to kind of blend it into the background more or less, kind of like that. Bring a bit that down here, especially here, and kind of like that. So now we have, should have probably made another layer actually. So this is before, oh actually no, this is before, after. So it's definitely more intense in terms of highlight. Might be a bit too intense actually. Let me just reduce this. Let's just have it on the dark part here and take this out. Actually, no wait. Take this part out, this part. Right now I'm experimenting with the lighter colors. Some of it might be a bit too intense. Just take this area out. Maybe just have it on the out. Actually no. Let's have it there. And let's brighten this area up like that. And reduce the darkness here. So this is what we have. That's before, after. So after, I kind of neutralized a lot of the super dark shadows. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, depending on what you're looking for. So I think we'll go with this for now. And that's gonna be 2 hours. 2 hours. 2 hours. Okay, so let's have a look, see what we have. First step, second step, third step, fourth step. To be honest, I kind of like the face here a bit better. This one is just a bit more different. Let's kind of rotate it. Let's keep it like that. I think the hair needs a bit more work. Alright guys, so now, I think we should be adding the texture pretty soon, but let me see if I can play around with some of these areas first. First, I want to see how it would look if I actually darken the white areas up first and then add the skin tone in order to blend some of this together, but of course it's looking really soft, so erasing what I did to the areas that are not part of it, like this design, the black area, so it becomes like this. And what if I make the darker area have it more contrast, be a bit more intense? If I did this, if I do that, I think it makes the dark patch a bit more intense, and also it really helps emphasize the texture of it. But with that said, let's see how far I can push the white area. So I'm gonna add some more highlight, and then after that I'm going to gonna see if I can like have some really bright highlight here, and of course taking into account the anatomy. So this is gonna be the white part, but still most of the white area will be in shadow, and maybe I'll add a bit of it here. Still not sure in which shape, so actually let's go make it super bright. Maybe I'll just add it to that one particular area, and then a bit more highlight. I'm not sure where. Let's add it here. There's just a bit more highlight on that area in particular, just so it picks up a bit of that highlight. Yeah, actually, no. Redo that. Delete. If I do that, I'm not sure how the dark area will react. Actually, let me experiment. Maybe I'll just have this still dark, and then have this part highlighted. And let's see what else we could do here. And have just this part highlighted, of course. Bring some of that skin tone in here. It's not too bad. So this is before, after. Definitely neutralizes a few things, which I do like the feel of. Let me see what I can do concerning the skin. So if we gotta neutralize the white costume, have to see what we could do with the skin to make it not super. Oof, maybe that's too dark. Just bring it to a neutral, a beige color. And I'm gonna go inside here to the armpit and gonna select a dark color. And And I'm just going to kind of softly blend that in. Maybe have a bit of blue. I'm gonna select around the costume and put a bit of shadow where the cleavage is. Here. That. Before, after. Before, after. Let's go ahead and extend the shadow downward slightly. And maybe even sorry guys, I'm just kind of testing out a few things, such as trying to see how I should shade the armpit. Now that I kind of removed a bit of shadow here and there, this phase actually happens quite a bit where I pretty much changed the whole most of the shadow and how it is. So it's a lot of experimenting. A lot of times it's hard to explain the new direction of where I want to put the shadows, stuff like that. Like for example, I'm pretty sure this part is supposed to be a lot brighter now that I changed the direction of the shadow. Let me, however, just very subtly indicate a bit of shadow there. Maybe I can have a little bit of it. I think I'll keep that. Of course I need to. Okay, so this is what I have. It's before, after. Okay, let's go with this for now. And I'm gonna duplicate, constrain, blur the first layer. Go into soft light. And then gonna go adjustment. Adjustment, hue, saturation. Gonna brighten it up. So this is what we're gonna get. And as for the hair, let's see if we can actually put a bit more shadow and also blue light here. So just kind of bring a bit more of the environmental color into the hair using the airbrush as always. Airbrush is pretty good when you want to create a certain feel and you don't want to commit too much. This helps to bring in subtle atmosphere without being too harsh, pretty much. But of course the downside is you always have to go back into the color changes and whatnot. Okay, so this is the feel that I want to go for. As you can see, it's definitely, if you zoom out a lot, you can see that it's more atmospheric for sure. You just reduce that, and that's what we're gonna go for. Merge down. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is gonna work on the texture of the dark area. So in the movie, she's got some carbon fiber like texture, so that's exactly what we're gonna be putting on for the texture for the dark part of the costume. So I'm gonna look up some carbon fiber images, gonna find a good one, and I'm just going to apply that onto her costume. Alright guys, so I found a pretty good one. So a good one would have a bit of highlight and a bit of shadow. So this one has a nice highlight here, so I'm thinking I'll probably be using that a lot. I'm just gonna paste it on. So right now it's looking a little intense. Let's lower the opacity and we'll try to accommodate to the shape of the character. So like that. Of course it's really bright, so I'm just going to really bring it down. And it's now a game of copy and paste. So now I just have to kind of applying the texture everywhere, but at the same time have to do it in a way that the texture also follows the design of the character. So sometimes you have to erase a little bit of it so that you can blend it together. I'm gonna just save one copy. Everything else I'm gonna be, oops, yes. So this is my copy. Everything else is gonna be merged down together. That way it doesn't get super confusing. So this is my copy layer that I'll be using to do the rest of the character. It's going down here and kind of manipulating it in a way to complement the rest of her anatomy here. I'm going to erase a little bit of it, merge down, copy another copy of the texture, and then I'm going to be kind of manipulating it in a way to contour the back of the character and then erase parts of it to accommodate the rest of the design. So this is what we have. I think this is good enough. I'm gonna constrain it down below and erase the leftover. This part is actually quite important. We want to make sure to have all the textures different. Okay, so this is what we have. Now you can also kind of play around with the layer mode. Sometimes it gives some interesting results. So let's have a look, see. I think which texture works. I kind of like this one. It's very subtle when it comes to texturizing the character, so I might go with that on the. And also you can kind of do a bit of adjustment to see if you like the effect. Erase that. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with this. I think that's looking pretty nice. So after I'm happy with it, I'm gonna just like merge it down after that. Actually, this part is a little sticking out a bit. I'm just gonna copy the white layer and then I'm going to manipulate it downward so it's nice and sharp. This part needs to be darker. Gonna select this part and then gonna go and make it a lot darker. I might also do that to here. Actually, let's see if it actually looks better to be a bit darker. I want it to be nice and sharp too, so as you can see, It's not super clean here. Just gonna do it like that. Actually, I missed a little bit of here. Oops. Actually, yep. And going to select the rest of the patches that I missed. Copy, Control-C, Control-Shift-V to paste. Adjustment, brightness, contrast, and then I can just kind of really darken it up if you want to. You can also make it light, super light like this. Ooh, that actually looks pretty cool. Let's just keep it dark like the original design. Constrain it down. Auto contrast. I'm going to go into multiply and just going to apply shadow underneath the arm. Actually, yeah, just a bit here. And want to add a bit of that blue underneath that bit. For the color of the skin, kind of want to tone it down a bit, so I'm going to remove the tone of the skin to be a bit more grayed out, so that I can add some more color, like blush and stuff like that, and it will actually show up better. As you can see, it's the lip color showing up a lot, but I think it's a bit too much, but it's just an example. Let's remove the lower lip, make it a little thinner. Don't want to be too plump. And now for the eye, gonna make it a little darker. And let's do the rest of the eyes. Just going to work on the lashes. Doing them very, very subtly. Just outline the eyes pretty much. And also outline the nostrils using a warm skin tone. That is this before, after. It might be a bit too intense. In that case, you can blur it out using the smudge tool. Before, after, and then you can just layer it on that way. So yeah. Step 5, gonna bring this up a bit. Oops, did I bring it up? So I think I'm pretty okay with this. I'm just gonna merge everything down into one single layer. I'm gonna go auto contrast. Gonna go into the background, and maybe if I make the sky a little bit duller and less bright, that it actually suits the environment quite well. And I'm gonna go into dodge. Going to add some super bright light in that area here, gonna go create another layer using multiply. So this is the shadow color, so I'm gonna add some multiply area. Gonna put some area in shadow. So yeah, it's a lot of, I'm doing a lot of these, a lot of layering. Remove some of these areas. Let's reduce that. It's a bit too much. Maybe if I change it to darken. Darken pretty much just, it's slightly different from multiply, as it doesn't not like darken everything. Darken only darkens the pixel that is lighter than the color you pick. So a lot of times I think this way it just darkens up a little bit. It's like a softer way of darkening up areas. Let's see if this looks good. I'm trying to find different ways, like different techniques, and see if the way I'm trying out will look better than the original, and sometimes it does. This is where experimenting comes in handy, because a lot of the times you're not really sure, or you don't really like what you're working on. So when that happens to me, I usually like try a lot of stuff. Let's go with this. Have a look here. So this is before, after. I think this is more atmospheric in a way. I'm just gonna leave it as it is, like that. It's not too bad. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. This has been around 2.5 hours painting time, and this is usually how I paint. A lot of trial and error, a lot of experimenting, paint over. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will probably do more of this in the future. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this, because I stopped making more of the beginner stuff because I've done so many of them, and I'm not sure if I should redo those or not, because I've already created many tutorials in the past for more beginner stuff. So now I'm just I think it might be more helpful to do just these walkthroughs, since a lot of my process is like this, and it actually, I want to show you guys that a lot of times when I paint, it's not just systematic, it's not just straightforward. It's a lot of trying here and there and going back a few steps and then work from there, stuff like that. A lot of experimenting actually, and a lot of editing as well. I'll probably be doing a layer of editing after this as well, because I'm not like 100% happy with this, and I'll probably spend a bit more time afterwards to really refine this for a finished piece, so you guys can have a better image to look at. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and hope you guys learned something from this, and I will see you guys in the next voiceover tutorial. Have a great day, guys.